Mike, thank you for your attention to ValgrAI. Okay, and we want to talk about artificial intelligence. And first of all, I want to ask you, how has artificial intelligence changed our lives?
Artificial intelligence is changing our lives in much the same way that computers changed our lives. When I was a child, computers were very rare. I mean, they were big, they were expensive, they were things that universities had and that governments had. And then during my lifetime, during your lifetime, what we've seen is computers become everyday objects.
Yeah.
And we've seen them we've seen them land on our desktops at work, and so we all started to work with computers. But now computers are everywhere in our environment. And artificial intelligence is the same. Artificial intelligence is something which is being transformed from a discipline, a research discipline that was in university research laboratories, to something which is everywhere around us, embedded in every device, in your smartphone, in your smartwatch, absolutely everywhere in your environment. And so even if you don't realize it in your life, every time you use your satellite navigation system, for example, in your car, you're interacting with artificial intelligence. When you talk to Siri or Alexa or Cortana on your phone or your watch or in your home, you're talking to artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So artificial intelligence is surrounding us everywhere in our environment.
Every time, all the day.
And we don't realize it, but it's there everywhere.
Okay. And do you think artificial intelligence will continue to change your life, my life?
I think we're at the very beginning of that. I mean, the way to think about it is, again, satellite navigation systems. 20 years ago, we started to see them emerge. And before we had satellite navigation systems, we would do navigation manually in the car. And in my family, that meant lots of arguments, lots of people shouting at each other when we got the directions wrong. But what satellite navigation systems did is they took the load off us. They took a mental load off us, and they automated that task for us. And what it meant is that as a result, we were smarter, and that we were able to focus on the things that required human intelligence and human thought. In driving, it meant that we could focus on the road instead of the map. Artificial intelligence is going to be the same. It's going to be everywhere that you have to make a decision in your world, in your life, and it's going to make you smarter, it's going to make you more efficient, it's going to enable you to focus on the things that require human capabilities, human skills, human intelligence, human understanding.
But probably George taught us that artificial intelligence nowadays is a baby. Yeah. Do you agree? Are you agree?
I think that's a fair description. Yeah, it's artificial intelligence. We're only a decade into the transformative changes of artificial intelligence. We've got a long way to go yet, and it's going to change things in ways that we can't imagine right now.
Okay. It's possible that a machine has feelings.
It's not a question, I think, that I find a very exciting one. I mean, I think leave emotions to people. I think that's where, I want machines that are going to improve my life, that are going to improve society, that are going to improve the climate. I mean, the question of whether they can have emotions themselves, I think, is much less interesting. I think we should leave that to people. That's where the emotions should be.
Okay. And do you think artificial intelligence for us is a friend or is an enemy?
I think there are risks for artificial intelligence. There are many potential advantages to artificial intelligence. So I'd say I think I and my colleagues are focused on beneficial AI, how it can improve our lives, how it can improve society. But we need to be aware that there are many, many challenges with artificial intelligence. For example, imagine that artificial intelligence was your boss, and that you're sat and many of us spend our working lives in front of a computer, sending emails and filling in forms on a web page. Imagine if everything you did was monitored by an AI program, giving you feedback on every email that you sent, saying, I didn't like this email. I didn't like the way that you expressed that. You need to be politer with our customers. Everything you imagine, everything in your working life was monitored by AI. that's not a happy prospect,
Yeah.
right? So we need to be careful not to construct that future. We need to focus on the ways that AI can improve our lives, and we need to be aware that people can abuse it, and we need to anticipate those abuses and make sure that they don't happen.
To be careful is one of the most important things without artificial intelligence.
Yes, absolutely.
We are going to talk about past, present and future of artificial intelligence. You had to choose a milestone in the history of this baby, of the artificial intelligence. Which one is?
So about a decade ago, there was a competition that was run for image recognition. So the idea was you would show a computer a picture, a photograph, and it would have to describe what it saw in this photograph. And the competition had been run for many years. This is a classic problem for artificial intelligence, and progress had been very, very slow. And then 12 years ago, there was a program called AlexNet that was entered into this competition using a new technique, a technique called deep learning, which is now a classic technique in artificial intelligence. And all of a sudden, the performance of that program was a step change. It was a leap using these new techniques called deep learning. And AlexNet was what made the world wake up to the fact that something important was happening, that we were really seeing breakthroughs in artificial intelligence. And so for me, AlexNet, a decade ago, that was the start of the new era.
Yeah. The real challenge, or the main challenge to the future, for the future of the artificial intelligence.
So there are many challenges, but I think one of the most important is about enabling AI to interact with people successfully. Things go wrong with AI at the interaction between the computer and the person. And I think not enough attention is being focused on that interaction. So enabling AI to interact with you and to anticipate your needs and to help you and to work in the human environment. We shouldn't adapt ourselves to artificial intelligence. We should have AI adapt to us. And AI should be our servant. We should not be the servant of artificial intelligence. And I think this is very important to remember.
And to conclude, Mike, the contribution of ValgrAI, what do you think about this?
I think this is very important because one of the biggest challenges now in artificial intelligence is the big problem in artificial intelligence is the scarcity of skills, the scarcity of people that understand what AI is and how it can be used. And so what I see in ValgrAI is building up capacity in the region and contributing to companies, building up those skills in universities. And I think that's absolutely the right thing to do. And I think it's tremendously important. And regions and countries that fail to do that will fall behind. Industry will fall behind. So an investment in AI skills, in AI technologies, in building up that base is incredibly valuable.
Okay, Mike, thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
It's a pleasure.